Radhe Radhe Dandavat Pranam. Radhe Radhe Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vinobihari Mandir, Gopinath Bhavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham.
Jai Ho!
Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Padu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Patit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shri Nandana Gaur Hari ki jai, Radha Vinobihari Ju ki jai, Radha Raman Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Harinam Sankirtana ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So, we will begin with Mangalacharan, page 1 of this book, Shri Gauriya Giti Guccha. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Patakama.
Visnupada Gurudeva
नयिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्ज्वलप्रेमभ्या श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिनां श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोऽस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दिनकारिणे रूपानुगतिरुद्धाप सिद्धान्तमन्तहारिणे नो गौरकिशोराय साक्षाद्वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रालम्भारसम्बोधे वनं पूजायते नमः नो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगपरायते गौराविर्भावभूमे स्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रिया वैष्णव सर्वभौमश्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरतोपङ्गो मम मन्दमते गति मत्सर्वस्वपदं भोज राधामदनमोहनो दिव्यबृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमदा श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो गोविन्ददेव प्रेष्ठानिधि सरसानं तं शिवतर्कतस्थितः कर्षं रेणुस्वरयोगे गोपीनाथश्रियस्कृतः वृन्दाये तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णाभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावं निर्वाणं Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Gurudev, Boro Kripa Kori. It starts with Gurudev. B-A-D-O
Boro.
K-R-P-A. Boro Kripa Kori. And if you don't know by now, just so you do, if you will scroll down to the bottom of the thread, you'll find that Jiva Pavana Prabhu mercifully always adds the bhajans and kirtans that we're singing so we can all do kirtan together. So keep scrolling down and searching and you'll find it in the thread. Thank you, Jiva Pavana Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Dandavat to all Vaishnavas.
You believe it?
Yeah.
I can do this one with the Mridanga and that. No? Gurudev Guru Kripa Guru Goravana Majhe Gurudev Diyacho Guru Kripa Guru Goravana Majhe Gurudev Diyacho Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagwan Guru Varga ki jai, Guru Parampara ki
Jai.
jai.
If it's a freebie, I can do the drumming.
Mm-mm.
No?
Nope.
Is it that bad?
It's too deep. Kirupe Paibo Seva Mui Durachar, page 45. K-I-R-U-P-E. Paibo, P-A-I-B-O, Seva.
Page 45.
I have to look at that one and then figure it out, and then maybe I can do it another day.
Okay.
But today I'm thinking Boro Sukher Kabor Gai, page 164, B-A-D-O, Sukher, S-U-K-H-E-R, Kabor, K-H-A-B-O-R, Gai, G-A-I, 164. Yes.
Thank you.
If I do the other one, I have to play the tempo on the drum.
And I would just let you sing.
Yes. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Prabhu Nityananda Naam Okay.
Page 66, Emanadurmati, and it starts with Prabhu He. Prabhuhe. Prabhu He, Emanadurmati. Give 1 minute. Just a second for them to find it.
Shubha Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai.
Can you do Radha Kunda? No?
Guess what page?
Or you can do like Bhajavayamana. Radha Kunda Tata, page 218, and it starts with Radha, R-A-D-H-A, Kunda, K-U-N-D-A, Tata, and it's page 218 in the songbook. Thank you, Jiva Pavana Prabhu, for adding the lyrics and the bhajans to the thread.
Thank you. Radha Kunda Tata Kunja Tira Govardhana Parvata Yamuna Tira Radha Kunda Srila Something we don't normally do in the afternoon, but I'm going to do it with the afternoon tune. Page 232, Vibhavari Shesha.
Okay, what page?
232.
232.
Vibhavari Shesha.
It's hard to hear when you do it like that.
Sorry.
Vibhavari.
So, when Gurudev sang it in the afternoon, he wouldn't sing the Vibhavari Shesha part. He would start with Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari. Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Haya Krishna Bolo Hari Hari Ram Krishna Hare Deva Guru Hari Hari
Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hare Deva
Hare Singha Srimad Sudanam Rajendra Govinda I'm not thinking of anything. You're looking for this Ashtakam or the Sanskrit bhajan. Hold on. Looks like we've been Radhe Jai Jai Madhava Daite, page 341. 341, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Or you can find the bhajan, the last comment in the comment thread, posted by Jiva Pavana Prabhu. He always posts the bhajans very kindly. Thank you.
And other selected nectar, if you look carefully.
Vrishabhanandani Shrimati Radharani ki
Jai.
Sudevi?
Not that one.
Okay.
If you keep scrolling down, the nectar is flowing. Just check under the name Jiva Pavana Prabhu. So much beautiful nectar is there. Dandava Pranam Prabhu, thank you so much. This is beautiful.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Hare
Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
There are no questions here.
From yesterday.
Wow.
Excuse me for a moment. I just have to turn off that volume, notification volume. There we go. Maybe the ringtone. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaye Tadbhaktaye Namo Namah Ajnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Namo Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Nityanamine Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkrapatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astottara Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam into the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astottara Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present, and future, including those who are present with us today, I offer my Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
So I was just going to the questions from yesterday. I don't remember what color kurta I was wearing. I think it was purplish. Shyam Prabhu.
I don't think he's there yet today.
It's okay. He said he has lots of questions. Okay, I can see this. Interesting. Feeling guilty about spending any money for anything whatsoever in our own seva. Buying jewelry and other things like that. So, very interesting question. It depends on what our motivation is. If we're approaching these things for our own pleasure, I will speak actually from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada's conception, because we have so many different ideas. It's nice to dress up and to look nice and to have fancy clothes. All of my clothes have been gifted to me by others, so I don't really get to choose, but that's fine. But there are certain persons who like to wear quite stylish, expensive, fancy clothes. And also, when we come to the temple and in front of the deities, and it is said in Hari Bhakti Vilas that on festival days, one should dress up very beautifully, very lavishly. Also, we've seen how our Guru Varga, how our Gurudev, those who are in the position of being preachers, Goshtyanandi, means they're preaching outward, how impeccably they dress. They take time and effort to make themselves look presentable so that they will be accepted, so that their message will be heard. And this is one of the main reasons that Mahaprabhu took sannyas. Because we see that earlier he was manifesting symptoms of bhav, and all ashtasattvic bhavs, the 8 transformations on his body. But what happened? He began calling out gopi, 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 and people were looking at him, even his own students, thinking he's going crazy. And so he realized that I have such an important task, such an important message to give to the world, that if people are looking at me as crazy, then they won't accept my message. So I need to make an adjustment. So accepting the dress of sannyas, he also accepted the bhav of sannyas and the practice of sannyas. It wasn't just the dress, but everything, all parts of it, and he was supremely strict with that. And he also taught supreme strictness in relation with other sannyasis, like Jota Haridas. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed that in order to preach, in order to present, we may have to represent in a certain way. So it depends on what the motivation is. If you're a beautiful young girl and you're dressing up very beautifully in a way that will attract others to yourself, then you can consider that I am actively making an endeavor to distract someone's attention from Guru and Krishna toward my own body. Then this is actually detrimental for your bhakti and for their bhakti, because we're intentionally taking someone away from the vision of Krishna. And it's the same for any, it doesn't have to be a beautiful young girl, it can also be an elder or a young man or an older man, dressing in a certain way to attract that attention. But we've heard also that there was one devotee once who came in front of Gurudev with holes in their clothes. And Gurudev looked at it and he said, your father is not a pauper, means a poor person. So we should also see that what we do, we're representing our Gurudev, and people should not look at us and think, oh, look how they're unkept. There was one devotee who was wearing a old, kind of raggedy, dirty, it was a white t-shirt. It used to be a white t-shirt, but it had all the turmeric stains and all the other stains on it just from being old and used. And Gurudev looked at it and it just looked like a dirty old rag. And he told that boy, he actually pointed at me and he told him, you should dress like him. I haven't ever told that story before. It just came to me at that moment. So it depends on what the intention is. If we're doing it for seva, or it's a festival day and we're dressing up because of the festival in glory of Krishna, then that is good. But if we're doing anything like trying to decorate our bodies in a way which is to attract or distract, and we all know what that's like. I remember it was it was like a group of heavenly apsaras descended into Keshavji Gaudiya Math, and some of the young brahmacharis just didn't have any idea what happened to them. It was like that. It was just so different, the contrast from what they were accustomed to. And after some years, they became more accustomed to it. But I remember at a certain point, it was like all the ladies had to put on white chadars and, be very simple, so as not to distract. And brahmacharis would come to Gurudev weeping, and he would say, oh, I know why you're crying. What's her name? Or he said, you think I don't know who's making eyes to whom during Mangalarti time? You think I don't know? So what is our intention in doing these things? So certain things like this, I'm wearing a ring here. This ring is actually Mahaprasad. Gurudev had it on his finger 3 times, or twice, 2 or 3 times. One time, I think it was 1996, I had it in my pocket here, and after the bhajans or kirtan, I offered my pranam, because I was playing mridanga. I offered pranam, and it fell out. And then Pujapat Ban Maharaj, he was holding it, looking at it like this. And I was like, it's mine, it's mine. He was like, no. And he gives it to Gurudev. Gurudev has it on his finger. And Gurudev would make jokes about all of us, Western devotees. Oh, you are so rich, you don't even mind losing your gold and your wallets and your money belts and your passports, thousands and thousands of dollars. He's like, no one in India would ever do that. But we would just lose it left and right. So I lost my ring. And Gurudev's holding it, looking at it like this. And then I was like, that's for me. And then he gave it back to me. Another time we were in Fiji, and I was telling Sudevi that on Akadashi, that Kali enters into where gold is hoarded, where there's hoarding of wealth. Huh?
You just said gold.
So enters into gold. This is what I had heard when I was younger. So I suggested that she removes her jewelry, the shringar, the Mangala Sutra, the wedding necklace, and other jewelry that she had. And she's like, well, Gurudev's right there. Why don't I just ask him? And she's like, Gurudev! And I was like, oh my God, she's telling on me. She goes right up to Srila Gurudev. Gurudev, Kishori Mohan said that Kali enters gold on Akadashi, so I shouldn't wear my shringar, my gold on Akadashi. He said, where is he? And he said, come here. So I went there and he said, give me your ring. So I took off my ring and I gave it to him. And he took it and he was like this and he put it in his pocket and he said, now Kali won't touch you. Like this. And then he explained to her and to me that a woman should never remove her shringar. That shringar, especially the wedding jewelry and all of that, he said it tells everyone, including the devas, that that person is not meant for anyone else, only her husband. So it's like a major stop sign from the top of the head to the toe rings, everything. It says, no, I am not for your enjoyment. I have given myself here. So Gurudev said a lady should never, a married woman should never remove her shringar. So it depends also on the mood. Sometimes, was it 1996? Sudevi at that time was known as the Princess of California? That's what Gurudev said to her when she arrived in Keshavji Gaudiya Math in 1996. He saw her come in, and she floated in with her nice silk saris and matching bead bags and everything. And Gurudev said, the Princess of California has arrived. But when Gurudev went to America that same year before Kartik, she had her makeup on and her nice clothing and everything. You know, she was married already. And one devotee was harassing her. Gurudev doesn't like his daughters to wear makeup or fancy anything. And she was dressed really simply. And so Sudevi's like, well, he never told me that, and I don't, I'm just now coming in, so I don't really know these things. And she was quite heavy with Sudevi. So then they went in front of Srila Gurudev in a small darshan, some devotees, and this lady says to Gurudev, Gurudev, what did she say exactly?
What do you think of your daughters wearing makeup?
What do you think of your daughters wearing makeup? And Gurudev said, she can do. And he pointed at Sudevi, she can do. And he looked at her, but you cannot. And then he just opened up and started speaking about how the gopis are wearing makeup and what each of their, like the color of their lips and their kajal, what everything means in terms of their relationship with Krishna. How it is all being utilized in service for Krishna. And so that's why I'm mentioning again and again that it depends on the mood that one approaches anything. If someone is just looking, they're doing this thing and it's bad, Gurudev's like, no, it's not. It's bad for you because you're picking on it. And maybe she's doing what she should be doing as a married woman to protect her husband from the onslaught of others who may be trying to distract him. Right? So it's a seva in that case. Gurudev was actually asking at a certain point, if just one of my married couples could stay together, if just one. And we kind of like said, let's do that for Gurudev. At least that. We'll try our best to serve him in that capacity. We will stay together. So it might be that a lady might wear her shringar to make sure that her husband's mind doesn't get distracted by other ladies who are wearing their shringar and trying to distract anyone. So it depends on what the motivation is, but that can also be utilized in seva. Like this, I mentioned this originally. It's not just because it's Mahaprasad, but immediately, if someone sees it, they know, I'm married, and I'm married to Sudevi. So they're not going to come close, because Sudevi will burn them with her eyes if they mess with me. What? It's true. So the point is, what are we doing and why are we doing it? How can I utilize something in seva? We have seen how Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada engaged our Param Gurudev and so many others. They dressed up in a different dress than our traditional Gaudiya Vaishnava dress. When, Lord Zetlin came to Yogapit in Mayapur. He dressed them up in a certain way so that they could be relatable for the purpose of preaching at that particular time. And he also used modern conveyances. So what are we doing and why are we doing it? How can this be utilized in bhakti? Am I dressing impeccably to represent Guru and Krishna, or am I dressing impeccably to attract the opposite or the same sex or whatever you like? Am I dressing for that purpose? Why am I doing anything on the path of bhakti? Now we know that Putana, she dressed as a mother, even though she was a witch, a Kechari witch, who liked to drink the blood of young babies. That was her nature. And kill them. But she dressed up as a mother and approached Krishna in such a way. And just because of this, aho bakiyam stanakala putam, because she dressed as a mother and approached him, even though she had some malintent, desire to kill him, still, he's so merciful that he granted her the position as an eternal nursemaid in Goloka Vrindavan, because she approached him as a mother. So sometimes people say, what is it with the clothes? Why are you wearing these clothes? Because I want my Gurudev to be pleased with me. I want Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be pleased with me. I want to enter into their samsar. I don't want to be in the Maya samsar. But it may be necessary that we have to wear certain clothes for one time and other clothes for a different time. When you have to go to work, you can't always wear these clothes. They won't let you. So then, when you go back home and you take your shower, put on your tilak, put on your Vaishnava dress, and do your Vaishnava activities like chanting your mantras, Harinam, taking care of Thakurji, then we'll see, oh, I'm putting these clothes on as part of my sadhan to remind me that my nature is an eternal servant of Krishna. And yes?
Can you tell about Gurudev putting on his tilak and doing his turban and how we're representing?
Yes. So Sudevi asked me to tell how Gurudev was putting on his tilak and how we're representing. So we went in front of him as members of the executive committee of his advisory council to share with him so much information that we had finally come up with plans from our meetings. And Gurudev was getting ready to go to the temple and give class that evening in Govardhan. So we sat in front of him for a long time as he was putting on his tilak, and we were just waiting because he was in a very meditative state. When we put on our tilak, we're like, Om Keshavaya Nama, Om Narayana Nama, Om Madhavaya Nama, Om Govindaya Nama. But he is actually doing it with a very particular intent and focus. It is said when you use this finger means it represents one's intention. And so when he's putting it on, he would also chant, Tabayevasmi, Nanjivami Tvayabina, Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tam Nayamama Charanantike. This prayer of supplication to Srimati Radhika. Tava eva asmi, I am yours, I am yours. Na jivami tvayabina. In life or in any situation, iti vigyaya radhe tvam. I'm surrendering myself at your lotus feet. So this is his intention, his mood and everything. And for such a long time he was putting it on, but his hand would shake a little bit sometimes. Then he would take the cloth and clean it a little bit. And then if there's something came off too much, then he would add a little bit more tilak and put it on until it was impeccable. It was perfect. It was beautiful. And that intention was his mood of service to Radha and Krishna. Srila Gurudev said that the right side represents Krishna, the left side represents Srimati Radhika. This, what we call the Tulsi leaf, represents Vrindavan. And clearing out this center part means that I have no other desire. Means it is empty of any other desire. My only desire is that Radha and Krishna should happily meet in Vrindavan forever. And I have no other desire than that, except that maybe I might be able to serve in those pastimes. So, with this intent, after Gurudev was putting on that tilak so nicely, it took him almost 10 minutes. And then he had this small little comb, and he took that little comb out and he combed his eyebrows like this. And we were just watching and completely mesmerized how much time, how much endeavor he took. And he was going out to represent. His clothes were impeccable. Everything about him was impeccable. And he was going out to represent the message of his Gurudev, of his Guru Varga, of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So what was the intention of doing that? If he didn't need to go out publicly and do that, then just like we've seen with our Goswamis, or Vangshidas Babaji, all he had was kopins. Some were only wearing these half white or old white dhotis. They didn't have bleach and everything in those days. So they weren't worried about that. They're living in a forest, they're chanting Harinam day and night, rolling in the dust of Vrindavan. So it was a different scenario, a different setting. So what is the intention of everything we do? Some of our Guru Varga have made fun of, I would say made fun, but asked us to really check ourselves. That you spend so much money on jewelry for yourself and your family, beautiful clothes and fine things for yourself and your family members. But what do you give to Krishna? What do you give to Guru? What do you give to Vaishnavas? How do you serve the Dham? You spend so much for yourself. Hundreds of thousands of dollars for ourselves, for our own enjoyment. But what do we give for Krishna? Do we give more than some fruit? Maybe some outfit that we bought in Loy Bazaar? Something like that? But do we really give something nice? Sudevi used to wear silks, but she stopped because now she offers it only to Thakurji. Back in the day, she used to have nice silks, but she stopped that. Now she wears that art silk stuff. Nice designs, but what she's giving to Thakurji, she makes sure that that's much nicer, much better, much more fine, much more beautiful, and with much more endeavor. But Srila Bhaktivedanta Trivikram Maharaj and our Gurudev, they're saying we give so much to our material enjoyment and those loved ones in our life. We give so much for them. But what do we give for Krishna? And he said then we should check our pulses and see, where am I really in terms of devotion, bhakti? Because really, bhakti comes down to being exclusive, one-pointed. So usually we find that the devotee would become much, much more simple about themselves and their material enjoyment, and they would give all of that to Krishna, in service of Krishna. And then if anything would come, they would take it as prasad. I remember back in the day seeing so many brahmacharis in the mutt, they had a little bit of a nail polish on just one nail, the little nail. And we're like, why are they wearing nail polish on their pinky nail? And they said, oh, it's because so many would come and offer so much to Srimati Radhika in the temple, nail polish and things like that. The locals are very, very simple and sweet, and so they're, oh, she's a girl, let's give her nail polish, let's give her so many things. And so they saw it as Mahaprasad, so they would just paint a little bit on one nail every day. And we thought that was very sweet. Okay, I'm just checking here. Oh, so I just read here about a ring. So I've told it maybe a long time before, some of you may remember, but we were in a different situation with Srila Gurudev. It was myself, one brahmachari, and Srila Gurudev, and we were giving him a massage, or we were going to. And Gurudev looked at his finger and he said, what is that? It was a coral, it was a gold ring with coral. And he said, it's to help my mind with the effects of Shani and like this. Some astrologer told me to wear it. And Gurudev said, give that to me. So he took the ring off and he gave it to Gurudev, and Gurudev put it in his pocket, or he kept it to the side. He just said, Shani will not touch you. And then Gurudev leaned back and he kicked into the air. And he said, Shani can go and live with that person who told you to wear that ring. But Shani won't touch you now. So he didn't want us to put our faith in all of these other things, especially jewelry that is meant to ward off the different planets and things like that. He wanted us to put our faith, our Shraddha and Harinam Prabhu in bhakti, in the process which our Guru Varga have given us, not to do all sorts of other things, all sorts of tantra and ghost busting and all of these kind of things. This is not part of our process of bhakti. That is outside of our process, and it is putting faith in other things other than bhakti. And if we're putting our faith in other things, then how can we develop an exclusive mood toward bhakti? So Srila Gurudev was always encouraging his disciples, don't put your faith in all of these other things. He even said, don't put any jewels or any other kinds of beads or silver or gold in between your neck beads. And he said, don't even put a clasp, so you can twist it off and put it back on. He said, it should only be tulsi beads all the way around. 3 separate strands, he said, like my Guru Maharaj, like our Guru Varga gave. 3 separate strands. And you will find that they don't get all twisted and choke you if you do it that way. And he said, I want to give you in my mood. And then he said, and you should tie it very tight, like this, so it won't come off. No clasp, no jewels in between, just tulsi. And tie it very tight, so it won't come off. So he wanted it to be permanently there. So this is our jewelry. We have faith in Tulsi Maharani. Why? She can awaken Krishna Prem. Right? Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi. She can give or awaken Krishna Prem in our hearts. We pray to Gopishwar. Why? Rajavilasi Nangri Padme Prema Prayacha. He can awaken Prem for the lotus feet of Sri Radha and Krishna. We pray to Yogamaya for that same reason. We pray to our Gurudev for that same reason. Who can help me in bhakti? Who can help me to increase my thirst for serving Radha and Krishna? My greed for that. Then I accept that in my life. That is called anukulyasya sankalpa. Making a firm resolution to accept those things into my life which are favorable for increasing my shraddha, nishta, ruchi, asakti, bhav, and praying to Radha and Krishna. And anything else which is not supporting that or favorable to it? Thank you. Hare Krishna. Or sometimes our Guru would say, Pranam forever. Means it's not favorable? Okay, I'll keep it at a far distance. It's not for me. So we accept this is our jewelry. We've also heard it. It is jewelry for the soul. And these clothes, when you go outside wearing this, especially in a country other than India, but also in India, everyone looks at you. And a lot of people mock you. Why? Because you're not like them. But that moment you realize, I can't blend in. I'm not able to blend in. They're all looking at me. They're watching me. They may be mocking me, treating me funny. I can't blend in. So now I have the mental complex of either being the outsider or belonging to my Gurudev, my Guru Varga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna. Right? I can think, oh, I'm being rejected by members of the society who are upset at me for not pleasing them by dressing in a way to please them. Or I'm dressing in a way to please my Gurudev, my Guru Varga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Radha and Krishna. So we can adjust our consciousness to be conscious of Krishna or Krishna conscious. And certain things like wearing tilak, wearing neck beads, wearing even a particular kind of dress can help us to remember that. Otherwise, it's easy to blend in. So many times we have met, we have seen, and even I have done away in the past, where you want to do something which is not favorable for bhakti, so wipe off your tilak, put on plain clothes, and hide out. Then no one's going to criticize me, no one's going to know. Except Gurudev's in my heart, Krishna's in my heart, my Guru Varga's there, they all know, they all see. Only I am pretending that they can't see. Sometimes people turn the picture of Gurudev around. Oh, I want to watch a movie. Okay, turn the picture of Gurudev around. Like that, as if he can't see or doesn't know. But we know inherently that Guru knows. We're just choosing to turn around the other way. That is called Bahir Mukha. turning our face away from Guru and Krishna to do some activity which is not favorable for bhakti, then we can expect the result. The result of that is that we will be far away from Gurudev, and far away from Krishna, and far away from bhakti. Because we have made that choice. But if we make the choice to be in a situation where even non-devotees will remind us of Krishna, hey, what's that white stuff on your head? Did you get paint on you? Or little kids, hey, bird droppings? Or something. One big cowboy said to Sudevi and Subi in the elevator, he was like, hey, what's with the frosting? He asked them, what's with the frosting? And immediately you have a chance to say, oh, we are Hare Krishnas, or we follow the process of bhakti or devotion to God, where we chant the names of Krishna in the form of Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. So it gives us an opportunity, an immediate opportunity, without even trying, except that we are wearing it, to tell someone about Krishna. So it immediately gives us the opportunity to follow the order of Mahaprabhu. He is Jagat Guru, Gaura Mahaprabhu. To tell whoever we meet, wherever we go, to tell whoever we meet about Krishna. Just by that. One time we were in I think it was a Trader Joe's, big supermarket, and we were dressed like this. We had tilak on our heads, and the store clerk was looking down, looking up, looking down, looking up, and she looked a little uncomfortable.
We were checking out.
We were checking out. We were checking out. And she looked uncomfortable, and Sudevi just asked, don't you want to ask what's on my forehead? And she said, yes, yes. And then we started telling her about Krishna and Kirtan and everything, and she was quite interested. We've heard this from our Srila Prabhupada so often, that there is no lack of want for this knowledge.
Kishori, she made us do a kirtan.
That was another one. There's no lack of want for this knowledge. No lack of want. Means everyone, like Prahlad Maharaj, he says, everyone is searching for their dearmost friend. And that dearmost friend is? Sudevi?
What?
Everyone is searching for their dearmost friend.
That dearmost friend is Krishna.
Yes, and that dearmost friend is Krishna. We have given our hearts again and again for thousands and billions and trillions of lifetimes to so many, and it has been broken again and again and again, because our heart is meant to go to Krishna, not to others of this material world. It does, naturally, and so we play with that from time to time. As we're going from one body to the next, we have a whole new set of friends and family members, and then another one, and then another one. But none of that is permanent. But who is always with us? Krishna. And we're all searching for that permanent, best friendship, that eternal friendship which never dies. And everyone is searching for Krishna, and if we make Krishna available, then we might be giving someone an opportunity to receive that connection. And that would be the greatest welfare work. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, para upakar. The greatest welfare work is to share Krishna with others. And it is also merciful to the jiva. Jive doya. So Mahaprabhu has also ordered this. Jive doya. Vaishnava seva, jive doya, and always chanting the holy name without offense. These three. Serving the Vaishnavas, being merciful to the jivas. So how are we merciful to the jivas? If we're walking down the street and they don't know, they have not heard, so many people these days have never even heard of Krishna. It's quite amazing. Yeah, we're Hare Krishnas. Have you heard of what? Hare what? They haven't even heard of it. Which means the world right now is ripe for another revolution, especially right now, because everyone is confused, because no one knows what to believe anymore. This government agent is saying this government agent is saying that, this group is saying this group is saying that. So many conflicting informations, and everyone's just going, oh, what is going on? What is real anymore? It's all not real except for Krishna. Satyam Param Dhimahi. I meditate on that supreme, absolute truth. That is Krishna. So if we have the opportunity to give truth to someone, that will be the best thing that they could ever receive. The cure for all diseases, for all time. The holy name of Krishna, and a gradual awakening of their eternal inherent relationship with Krishna. So I don't know how I went from clothes and jewelry to that, but this is also, because it's part of clothing. So are we dressing to represent? I know that some people, if they see people that look like mismatched socks and really disheveled and super wrinkled and just not nicely presented, they will walk across to the other side of the street to avoid them. So I've heard it way too many times. And once upon a time, some devotees invited myself and Sudevi to do some kind of kirtan and preaching program with very affluent persons, simply because they said, because you guys dress well. That was it. Because you dress well. Even though you're wearing the traditional dress, because you dress well, we will invite you to share with these persons. And in one case, in one sense, it might not be so important. But if some affluent persons take to the path of bhakti, whatever the affluent persons do, Krishna says, yad yadacharati shreshtas, then the common people will also be inclined to follow. Oh, that's the fad. Look at how famous George Harrison is. His name is like right up there in all of the ISKCON Kirtan when they're doing public preaching. And he's saying, my sweet Lord and Hare Krishna. He was a prominent person. And I've heard the same story from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Prabhupada disciples. George Harrison, Hare Krishna. That's what attracted them. Because everyone loved those guys. Everyone loved that music. And it was part of their culture and their upbringing. And then this person became favorable to Krishna. He became a devotee. And when he was chanting, that chanting attracted them to the chanting. They began searching for that mantra, and they found Krishna manifesting in the form of Guru Krishna, as Srila Prabhupada A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. So, what an affluent person does, it can be have great consequences. So we've seen that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada endeavored to connect with such persons also. That's why he brought Lord Zetlin and others to Yogapith. He wanted to impress upon those persons, but it was a little difficult. And then our Srila Prabhupada, he just let Krishna do all of that. And with so many persons who may not have been affluent at the time, they still brought Krishna to every town and village, to every nook and cranny of the earth. So now I will enter into going beyond Vaikuntha. First praying to Sanatan Goswamipada, the original compiler of Brihad Bhagavatamrita, and our Srila Gurudev, the commentator on that book, Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita. His commentary, one of his commentaries is present within this treasure. So we will pray in the words of Raghunath Das Goswami, Vairag Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatner Apayana Mam Anubhikshamandam Kripam Dadiryapada Dukaduki Sanatanasvam Prabhum Ashrayami. Begging and praying in the dust of the lotus feet of our Gurudev and Sri Sanatan Goswamipada, that may even a particle of their moods which are present within these pages manifest within our hearts. So, actually this topic is continuing because yesterday we were speaking about Ravana trying to use the property of Krishna, which is Lakshmi, for his own service. And so our Srila Prabhupada called it Ravan mentality, when we want to just enjoy Lakshmi. So money is the property of Krishna because money is the manifestation of Lakshmi in this world, known as Chanchal Lakshmi. It means moving this way and that way from hand to hand. If we use Lakshmi in the service of Krishna, she will become abundant. If we try to use her in our own service, we will ultimately fail. because she is only meant for the service of Krishna. So what we are doing with Lakshmi, if we're actually engaging her in the service of Krishna, this will make her happy. And if we're trying to use her in our own service, she won't be happy. And what will be the result? Even if we have so much, we will be miserable. But if we're serving Krishna, then automatically, even if we only have a little Lakshmi of any kind, it doesn't only have to be money, but any kind of wealth, utilizing it in the service of Krishna, then automatically she will be happy, Krishna will be happy, we will be happy. And who is the source of all Lakshmis? Sarva Lakshmi Mayi. First person to write down the name here. Who is the source of all Lakshmis? They get a prize. So, Gurudev is saying here that at the time of Ramachandra's pastimes, within Lanka was Lankini, and she was also a shadow Shakti of the steady Lakshmi. The demons were worshipping her, so the demons worship Lakshmi. So many worship Lakshmi for wealth. But by nature she was restless. When Hanuman came and attacked, she became perturbed and ran away, thinking, very soon he will destroy Ravan. This monkey has certainly come to defeat us. Hey. Oh, Devaki. Yes, very good. Srimati Radhika. Balabhadra. So in this world, Lakshmi is very restless, never remaining in one place. Some people who have abundant wealth think there is no guarantee that it will stay within their family. So people who have a lot of money are always concerned and worried about their money. We have stayed with very, very wealthy persons and also very, very poor persons, monetarily. And we notice something interesting. Poor persons who don't have much money, they have $100 problems or $1,000 problems. And very wealthy persons who have millions and millions, they have $1 million problems. People are always trying to take them to court, trying to steal their money. They're always dealing with all sorts of things. I mean, even people threatening their lives with guns and this and that. So many problems, but on a big scale. And even people who are working with them as their partners, trying to steal, trying to take over their company, trying to destroy them and take everything. Some $1 million problems when you have millions of dollars. And when you have thousands of dollars, you have $1,000 problems, and hundreds of dollars, $100 problems, and no money, no problems. Therefore, Gurudev said, even if Lakshmi Devi is trying to come, we tell her to stay very far away. And if anyone is always worried for money day and night, you should also stay far away. Because if someone is completely surrendered to Krishna and using everything in the service of Krishna, then Lakshmi becomes greedy to also be utilized in the service of Krishna. So she will make herself abundant for those personalities. I don't know if you've ever seen, after any festival, all the donations that come to someone like Gurudev. I had the opportunity of counting it a few times. And immediately Gurudev uses it in seva. He doesn't hold on to it. That Lakshmi must be utilized in the service of Krishna. So immediately publishing books, use it for building temples, fix this in the dham, fix that kund, fix this sarovar, fix Surabhi kund, somehow or other, utilize Lakshmi in the service of Krishna, and the next day she refills. It's just like that. Those personalities who have no worry for money, they don't have any problems, or very less. And those who are absorbed day and night in struggling to make money, they find that they have big problems. So in this world, Lakshmi is very restless, never remaining in one place. Some people who have abundant wealth think that they will turn it all over to their offspring, but there is no guarantee that it will stay within their family. But that Lakshmi who in the form of Bhakti Devi resides with Bhagavan, she is steady. Wherever this Lakshmi is, she is steady. If she is residing in a place where someone offends her, then she may leave. Otherwise, she will stay. But bhakti doesn't come quickly. It is difficult to obtain. So I was reading this yesterday. I'm just doing a recap. Therefore, such superior potency, Parashakti, the supreme Shakti of Bhagavan, cannot be understood by argument, but by the mood of service. By serving, then we can understand. If inside of us is nishtha, exclusive feeling toward one particular form of Bhagavan. Now, Gurudeva is talking not just about Guru Nishtha, but about Nishtha in our Ishtadev. One particular form of the Lord. How do we know who our Ishtadev is? Guru can detect it according to the nature of our soul. This is your Ishtadev. So the sadhana you should engage in should be only to attain that particular goal. Guru detects it. But our Gurudev said, it is not something which is given or created or superimposed from an outside source. Who is my eternal Ishtadev? That is already inside us, inside the soul. He said Guru or anyone else from outside does not and cannot give that. Never and never. And we have the quotes. So when Gurudev says never and never, I assume he means never and never. It seems that we should accept that, right? When he says never, never, and never, or never and never, that we should accept his word as that is what he wants us to understand. So it can never be given or changed or anything. It is already inherent with us. Guru detects that and engages us in the sadhana to attain that particular goal according to the inherent mood within this Atma. If inside us is nishtha, exclusive feelings toward one particular form of Bhagavan, then bhakti will come. But if there's not exclusive nishtha toward one form, then it will not come. That's quite interesting. He's talking about bhakti. If we have, you cannot say that you have nishtha in many forms. It's not possible. Nishtha means exclusivity, one-pointedness, conviction, firm conviction. So if you have all forms, then you don't really have exclusivity. Then Gurudeva is saying, then bhakti will not come. So something will be there, admiration, some inspiration, but bhakti Devi comes to those who have exclusivity toward one particular Ishtadev, one particular form of the Lord. One may desire to perform bhajan for Ram and Sita, Radha and Krishna, Chandravali and Krishna, and others. From the perspective of tattva, tattva means the foundational, essential background perspective. Kind of like when you're building a building, you have that cement foundational structure. It's there, but after some time it's covered up. That's not something someone wants to be in. They want to be in something beautiful, something decorated and sweet and attractive. So that foundational thing, the support, if one has that perspective, then it might be okay from that perspective. But, Brihad said, and it is possible that one may even attain Vaikuntha. So when you have so many different ideas, when you're going toward Ram, Krishna, Narasimha Vaman, all of the different avatars, Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, all of the different avatars, and you're kind of just general. You're placing your faith in a general way. It might be that you can attain to Vaikuntha. But if you want to go further, go deeper into more rasa, Vaikuntha is like Shantaras, some dasya, something. But if you want to go further into more intimate rasa, like with Ram in Ayodhya, then you need to become exclusive, one-pointed, dasya, and more intimate than like Dwarkadish in Dwarka, and more intimate than like Krishna in Vrindavan. And within Krishna, the concept of Krishna in Vrindavan is also Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. Madhurya is the most intimate. So if one wants to move forward on the path of bhakti, then they need to develop this exclusivity toward one particular aspect of Krishna. And it's not something that we create by our mind or desire, external material desire. As I told before, when I was 4 years old, I was in nursery school, and the teachers came and they asked all the children, what do you want to be when you go back to Godhead? And all the young boys, they were like cowherd boys, Bhima, Hanuman. And all of the young girls, they said, we want to be gopis or queens. Because they're thinking of what I am in this body. And then the youngest one, she was 3, I think. She was the youngest one in the whole nursery school. There was like 40 kids. She said, I want to be a flower. And that really impressed me at 4 years old, that this little one understood. It was the only one who understood that she's not her body. Still, she wanted to be a flower. That is something that she wants to be. But what is she really? That one cannot detect with their material intelligence. One cannot detect it with their material mind. Because our desires are based on so many millions of sanskars or impressions in this world. I want this, I like this, I want to enjoy like this. But what is it really? Only a transcendental personality who's able to see beyond all material layers, all material coverings. They can understand and detect the nature of our particular Atma, like any gardener can detect the nature of any particular seed. They will see, this seed has this nature. And then they will give us nourishment, how to nourish that particular seed toward its perfection. So, Gurudev is saying, from the perspective of tattva, it may be okay to see all as one, and then you might end up going to Vaikuntha, which wouldn't even necessarily be our ultimate destination or resting place, as we have seen in the case of Gopakumar. He was in Vaikuntha but still feeling dissatisfied. He went to Ayodhya and still feeling dissatisfied, and Dwarka and still dissatisfied. And finally he had to understand and realize his true, intrinsic, inherent, eternal relationship with Krishna as a cowherd boy friend. And only at that time did he find his, or realize, perfection. Or some might call it everlasting peace. It means there's no more struggle at that time. It is naturally flowing. The nature of the heart in relation with the Lord. So Gurudev is saying, if there is not nishta for one particular deity, then there will be no ras and no ananda. So it will only be general, like Aishwarya Gyan, knowledge of the opulence of the Lord, but there will be no ananda. That means bliss, love, happiness. And there will be no ras. What is ras? Even in India today, if someone is serving sabji or dal, but sabji that has some juice in it, then you say more ras. And then they'll add that, the juice. So it is the juicy part. You know, if you have a wonderful sweet mango, you don't want a dry, mango that has no juice. You want a juicy, sweet mango. So that is ras. Or like rasamalai. Have you ever had rasamalai? You know, those big rasagullas? And then it's soaked in saffron kheer. Rasamalai. It's full of ras. So, Gurudev is saying, if you do not have exclusivity for one particular deity, means one particular form of the Lord, then there will be no rasa and no ananda. This is being exclusive, but it is not being biased. It is thoroughly correct. I don't even understand that sentence. This is being exclusive, but it is not being biased. It is thoroughly correct. So exclusivity, there's nothing wrong with exclusivity. Why is it not biased? Because we're not making a choice that, oh yeah, I think Nrsingadev is cool, so I'm going to go for Nrsingadev because I like how he's killing demons. oh, I like Parshuram, or I like this, I like that. What about what Krishna likes? What about what my intrinsic eternal nature is? So it's not considered biased if it is your nature. In the same way that your DNA creates your skin color. Is it biased that I have this color skin and someone else might have lighter skin and someone else might have darker skin? It's my DNA. It's what's made it. So can someone accuse me of being biased simply because of the color of my skin? They could accuse, but it doesn't. It has no foundation in reality. Maybe from a previous life, but not in this life. So what is one's intrinsic, eternal, inherent nature? I call it the DNA of the soul. If one's nature is such that they worship Sri Ram because it is the nature of their soul, is it biased? No, it is natural. It is their nature. If one is attracted to Krishna as a cowherd boy from the perspective of a cowherd boy friend, because it is the nature of their soul, is that biased? No. It is the nature of their soul. So that is why it is essential to come under the guidance of Sri Guru, who can detect what is in our heart. Guru kripa bina nahi koi sadhana bal. In this bhajan, Guru charana kamal bhajaman. We sing it sometimes. Our Gurudev, it is said there that our Gurudev composed this bhajan. I know he at least put some of his own sentences in there. And so Guru Charana Kamal Bhajaman, there it says, Guru Kripa Bina Nahi Koi Sadhana Bal. Without the mercy of Krishna, we cannot have the power, Sadhana Bal, to embark on the path of sadhana. Because how can we if we don't know what our sadhya is, what our goal is? So Guru gives us an indication of our goal at the time of initiation. Then when we are endeavoring toward that particular goal through all of the processes of bhakti that we are undertaking, Sadhu Sanganam, Kirtan, Bhagavat, Shravan, Maturava, Shrimurtir, Shradhaya, Sevan, all of the different aspects of bhakti, that is called bhajan. And that bhajan, that includes, right, Shrimurtir, Shradhaya, Sevan is archan. So bhajan is the main general whole, the full thing, the full gamut. And within that, there are so many angas of bhajan. So angas mean shravanam, hearing, kirtanam, chanting, smaranam, remembering, etc., and so forth. These are the angas of bhajan. But we cannot be said to be doing sadhana bhajan unless we have fixed our goal, which is our sadhya. Because the goal of sadhana is bhava bhakti. And the goal of bhava bhakti is prema bhakti. So therefore, we must be under the shelter of Sri Guru. And when Guru gives us initiation, Harinam and Diksha. Diksha means Divyam Jnanam Kshapayati iti Diksha. Awakening, beginning from a very small perspective, but awakening our transcendental relationship with Krishna. So once we set that goal, then everything comes into position and supports that. But if we don't have a goal, then we spend a lot of time wandering here and there, like Gopakumar, without knowing what his goal was. Or like me when I went to university. 4 years of taking so many different classes. I took so many classes and I had very good grades, but I never established a major. So after 4 years, then I quit because I didn't have a goal. And so when I quit, I didn't get a diploma because I didn't have a goal. So many classes were there, but I was just wandering from this class, French class, to Spanish class, to math class, to classes which were health sciences, to organic chemistry, to piano, to this, that. So many classes. But if I would have established a goal, then I would have only taken especially those classes which would have helped me to attain the goal, and I would have attained it very quickly, or in a much more clear way. So I wasted a lot of time in one sense. But fortunately for me, Gurudev came into my life very soon afterwards, so he engaged me in the University of Bhakti. The ultimate goal. The ultimate goal. So, Gurudev says it is thoroughly correct this kind of exclusivity to a particular Ishtade is thoroughly correct. It is not biased, but it is proper. It is thoroughly correct to have this kind of exclusivity. And actually it's considered not thoroughly correct to not have this kind of exclusivity, to not be one-pointed. It won't really bring about rasa ananda or rasa in the heart. It won't bring us to that personal relationship with the Lord that we are eager for, well, that all souls are requiring. So it's necessary to come to the point of exclusivity in one particular deity or Ishtade. In the verse under discussion from Brihad Bhagavatamrita, we find the word Parameshwari. Parameshwari is Achintya Shakti. Parameshwari means Param Ishwari, or the Supreme Ishwari, controller, controlless, Supreme Feminine Controller, Parameshwari, is Achintya Shakti, inconceivable potency, and to know her is not possible by argument. So one cannot understand or know Param Ishwari, or the Supreme Controlless. I don't know if that's a word. I'm making it a word now. The Supreme Feminine aspect of the divinity. It's not possible to know her by argument. She is beyond that. When will we be able to have her darshan? When we engage in exclusive bhajan, it will become easy. When we engage in exclusive bhajan, it will become easy to have the darshan of Parameshwari, Achintya Shakti, Parameshwari. The sentiment of the gopis, Rag Bhakti, is very rare. Rag Bhakti means spontaneous, loving devotion for Krishna. Spontaneous, with deep attachment. So to have the sentiment of the gopis, Raga Bhakti, is very rare and very difficult to obtain. But although that sentiment is very rare, it can be achieved. Sometimes, even if that thing which is considered the most degraded of all in this world is dovetailed in the service of Bhagavan, it can become the highest thing. So what is considered the most degraded in this world? In this case, what is being referred to? It is adultery or illicit affairs, illicit sensual affairs. That is considered the most degraded thing in this world. But if it is utilized for Krishna, then it is considered the highest thing. So when Gurudeva is saying that sometimes even if that thing which is considered the most degraded of all in this world is dovetailed in the service of Bhagavan, it can become the highest thing. And then he quotes the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:33-39. Vikriditam rajavadu viridam cha vishnum shradhanvita nishiniyad atavarnayadya bhaktim param bhagavatim pratilabhya kamam hridrogamashvapahinotyachirena dhira. What is, this verse is telling what is the cure for the disease of lust in the heart. Hridrogam means what is making the heart sick. Hridrog. Rog is sickness. What is that? The cure for that? To hear with faith and regard from someone who is free from lust, means they have already attained to that. Otherwise, how can we be free from lust? They have already developed transcendental taste, rasa ananda, in service to Krishna, who does not have lust. To hear from them the topics of Srimad Bhagavatam, especially the Rasa Lila section of Srimad Bhagavatam, Shraddha Anvita, with faith and with regard, from that kind of personality, this is the cure for the disease of lust in the heart. And Srila Prabhupada used to tell his disciples who would write to him crying, I have so much lust in my heart, what can I do? He would say, read the Rasa Lila section of my Krishna book. So, anyone who faithfully hears or describes the divine pastimes enjoyed by Krishna with the gopis of Vrindavan will very quickly obtain pure bhakti, thereby conquering the heart disease of lust. Looks like it's getting late. I just realized it's getting late. So, this is a very important point which Srila Gurudev is going to start explaining. A very beautiful explanation of this verse in Srimad Bhagavatam by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, which we will go into tomorrow. Tomorrow for us is Ekadashi, and it's also the first day of Jhulan Yatra, which is the day that the swing ceremony of Radha Govinda begins. Radha Krishna, I don't know if we're going to be swinging them, but that is the day Jhulan Yatra begins. And so we will continue with this subject tomorrow. But this point is very important, what Srila Gurudev is saying. Where did I put that? Oh. This point is very important, what Srila Gurudev is saying. Because sometimes in this world we think, oh, a lie is bad. But if you're lying for Krishna, for his happiness and his pleasure, like he ordered Yudhishthira Maharaj to do, you should lie. Then it is considered good. If you run away in the middle of the night from your husband for the service of Krishna, then this is considered good. Whereas in any other situation, it is considered the most vile thing. Not these days in the Western countries, but still in India to this day, it still has this kind of connotation. If one is engaging in adulterous affairs or anything like that, it's considered very, very bad. It's heavily frowned upon. But if you're using that for Krishna, means giving up everything, your chastity, your lajja, your everything for the service of Krishna, this is what the gopis do, then this is considered the highest form of worship. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Ramyaka chidupasana brajavadu vargena yakalpita. The way that Krishna is worshipped, which is most pleasing to him, is the method of upasana or worship that was undertaken by the young married gopis of Vrindavan. So this is the opinion of Mahaprabhu, and there is nothing beyond it. Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Srila Gurudev Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Gopal Guru Varga Ki Jai, Gaur Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai, Shri Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hare
for being with us today, for giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, and for engaging us in the service that our Gurudev requested us to do for our lifetime. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Ekadashi. Well, I don't know about everywhere.
Yes, we don't know if it's Ekadashi everywhere, but for us it is. And yes, so Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna, Radhe Radhe,
Radhe Radhe.
Hari Ju ki
Jai Hare Krishna.